Paul Finebaum tells Deion Sanders to stick to coaching over his salary cap comment. Does he have a point, guys? Let's get into this thing right now. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you, man. Welcome back to the channel. Had to jump on here real fast to talk about the Deion Sanders comments about salary cap and Paul Finebaum's reaction to it. Guys, I don't think this made news as much as it should have, but I think this is bad because I think, once again, this is a clash between the old and the new. And honestly, guys, I think Paul Finebaum getting out of pocket sometime. And granted, y'all know he the SEC guy. He's this old school guy from the South. And I think sometime when he makes his comments, man, I can see where some people would be a little bit offended how he makes the comment. Not necessarily what he said, but just the context. You know, he came at Cam Newton. He comes at a lot of people. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. I think if he keeps messing around, ESPN gonna have to have some security for him. Y'all know who's your boy from LSU? God, I can't think of his name right now. But he and Jeff Saturday used to do "You Need New Security," right? Paul Finebaum is gonna have to do new security if he keeps talking like this. But then I got into it and I was like, oh my God, he might be right. Or is he right? Now, I'm gonna share this. Let me share this with you guys, just so if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. We're over here at SI. We're over at SI.com on their NIL daily. Paul Finebaum urges Deion Sanders to stick to coaching football after salary cap comment. As college football adapts to the revenue share model in light of the House settlement approval, some head coaches like Colorado Deion Sanders have called for a market cap to help level the playing field in the name of image and likeness. Space. I wish there was a cap, Sanders said Wednesday at Big 12 media days. You know, like the top of the line player makes this. And if you're not that type of guy, you know, you're not going to make that. That's what the NFL does. So the problem is you got a guy that's not that darn good, but he can go to another school and give him $500,000, and you can't compete with that. Schools can share up to $20.5 million directly to student athletes this year. However, the cap does not include third-party NIL deals totaling at least $600, which must be cleared by the NIL Go Clearinghouse. Programs can still work with outside partners and collectives to add to their budgets. ESPN analyst and longtime SEC pundit Paul Finebaum responded to Sanders' plea, claiming there are bigger fish to fry among college football's many issues. Well, he's not the only one who would like to put a cap on it, Finebaum said on ESPN's Get Up. But right now, there's so many issues in college football that getting to a cap, it may happen one day, but I think they need to solve more basic problems first. I mean, I love Deion for a lot of reasons, but especially how he just changes the narrative depending on who is on his team. Finebaum referring to his former Colorado stars, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, who followed Deion from Jackson State before entering the NFL ranks after 2 seasons with the Buffaloes. Hunter and Sanders were among the most recognizable stars in the game and held lofty NIL valuations. I mean, those 2 guys that he had last year, Shedeur and Travis, could have left and broken everybody's bank. And would have he not had told them, could have left and broken everybody's bank and would have had he not had the hold over them, Finebaum said. So I just think Deion needs to stick to coaching football. Let the football leaders screw up the game the way they already have, guys. Now, I had to share that for a reason. Because look at what he just said about Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. He said, Deion, you had something over them that money couldn't buy. You had a hold over them. Clearly, Shedeur is his son. Travis Hunter is like a son. But Paul Finebaum knows just as well as we do, every relationship ain't going to be like that with 100 players under your watch, right? Now, let me tell y'all guys, I think Finebaum should have not told him to stick to coaching. I think what Finebaum should have said if he was going to be diplomatic is say, hey, Deion, you probably on the right track. We need to have a committee. But let me tell y'all why I'm against salary cap. I'm against salary cap anywhere. Now I get it; they got to do it in NFL, NBA, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm against salary cap. The free market is the free market, and we all know these kids ain't really getting an education. So these boys need to make as much as they can make. And I don't think Deion should be promoting. I don't think Deion should be promoting a salary cap. Okay, I don't think you should. If somebody wants to overpay for an underperforming player, good. Why do you care if a player that's not good goes somewhere else? Now, here's where Deion's problem is. I think Deion really truly loves these kids. And I know I'm calling it a problem, but most people don't see these kids as children, as developmental, specimens that need love and nurture and support. They cogs in a wheel. And what Deion is trying to say, let's look out for the kids, but that horse has left the barn. This is why Deion doesn't need to do the salary cap, guys. If I had a chance to sit down with Deion for 5 minutes, I'm going to tell him why he can't do a salary cap. Because there's no salary cap on what you can pay a coach. Right? We know these boys might get injured. These boys need to make as much as they can. And at the end of the day, if anything, I think that what they need to do is go straight to the pros. Go straight to the pros. One of the things that's hurting college football right now is that the NFL has this 3-year rule. NFL should say, hey, look, come straight here if you think you're ready. That's how you fix it. Take that arbitrary 3-year rule off the NFL. I can go to college or I can go to the NFL. That's what would fix the whole thing. And I think that's what Deion should be preaching. Now, let me tell you why you don't want a salary cap. The coaches don't have a salary cap. In business, they don't have a salary cap. If I try to sell my house, I can pay I can charge what the market will pay. Your product is worth what somebody's willing to pay. We don't need a salary cap in college football because now all of a sudden, and I get what Deion is trying to say about even the playing field, but the playing field shouldn't be even because in life it ain't even. This ain't a government job. This ain't a government-run entity. This is a free market deal where if your college produces graduates or produces fans that got deep pockets, they should be able to use those deep pockets. See, we got to get back to raising these kids to be able to go to college, even if you're an athlete or not an athlete. Raise these kids to go to college and understand supply and demand and how to go be entrepreneurs and high-performing employees. Create that revenue so they can create these NILs. Here's what Deion's problem is. Deion need to build a better NIL collective that can be outside of the rules. Guess what? Alabama got money. Georgia got money, right? USC got money. We know some of these programs. Michigan got money, right? Colorado. And here's what happens, guys. This is why some people going to tell Deion, go to a bigger school. Go to a school with more money. Because with Deion's cachet and personality, right? Deion could be crazy at Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, even though those places ain't open, Clemson. But let me tell y'all what I'm worried about with Deion if he got his way. And some of y'all probably ain't listening this far along, but for those who do, let me tell y'all what I'm worried about Deion Sanders getting his way. If you start managing this thing as a salary cap, if you make this thing a monolith, everything's going to start being managed, including digital media and social media. What separates Deion Sanders? Is his son, Well-Off Media. Paul Finebaum got it wrong. Was Travis and Shador good? Yeah. But the hold comes from what Deion Sanders Jr. does through Well-Off Media. Because, guys, they going to start governing that, and Deion's really got a problem. Because you can see where it's going. If you make it a monolith about the money, if everybody got to complete by the same rules on money, everybody going to have to compete on the same rules with marketing and digital outreach and all this kind of stuff. And if all of a sudden Well-Off is not allowed to operate freely and they start putting rules on Well-Off, that's more damaging to Deion than an out of control NIL. If I'm Deion is winning. Deion, look, I know he hates to lose some of these kids because he loves the kids. But Colorado is not paying him to love the kids. Colorado was paying him to win. And he did just that last year. And I think even though he's not feeling well and he's in a recovery phase right now, I think his team, if you watch Reach the People Media, the boys up there getting stuff done. And I think Deion is realizing that, hey, look, y'all, we might not be as loud this offseason, but we getting stuff done. Deion's doing a good job over here. But I know he's seeing some kids that need love and attention versus more NIL money. And he's watching these kids be destroyed. And that actually hurts his heart because being a kid from Fort Myers, he can relate to that. And somebody got to care for the kids, but that horse has left the barn. And I hate to say it to Deion. Look, play within the rules you're given so that they don't try to govern social media and digital media and marketing. Because if you start having to put the clamps on Deion Sanders Jr. and Darius, what does that do to your program? Because what makes you different is the branding. What makes you different is the mentorship. What makes you different is all that. And if you start governing the money, they're going to start governing everything else. And you want this thing to stay a free market, because what makes you Deion Sanders is that you operating within these rules that they haven't changed yet. Y'all get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think, man. It's Jeff Crazy or it's Jeff on or something. If you hadn't already, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications. And until next time, guys, I'm going to holler.